Happy Sabbath. We hope you've had an awesome week, and we're so glad it's Sabbath, and even though we don't really get to spend it with you guys in person, we're very glad that we get to at least make videos and hopefully give you guys a little bit of a Sabbath school lesson.
Yeah.
So today we have something new, and it's called the Adventist History lesson.
Yeah.
And today's is going to be about Ellen White. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Alright guys, so we're going to do a little something new today. And we're calling it our Adventist History lesson. So we promise it's not the boring kind of history. It's about, this one today is about Ellen White when she was a teenager. And it's called Kicked Out of Church. And it's written by a woman named Cindy Touch. And it's from a magazine that my grandma sent to me. But we also found it online. So we'll just get started with it.
Alright.
So as a teenager, what was Ellen's last name before she was married? Do you remember?
Before she was married, her last name was Harmon. Then she got married and she changed it to White.
Alright. So back in this story, Ellen White was a teenager. So in the picture that we have up here, there's no pictures really of her as a teenager. So that's one of her more famous pictures. So as a teenager, Ellen Harmon was worried that she was not ready for Jesus to come. William Miller and others preached enthusiastically about Jesus' soon return, which is also called the Second Advent. And although young Ellen was excited by the thought of his coming, she was concerned that Jesus had not forgiven her sins. For 3 weeks, Ellen could hardly eat or sleep, and her worries deepened. One night, during the state of despair, Ellen had a dream in which she met Jesus. He was so kind and loving that she wanted to stay under his presence forever. Ellen then understood that she could reach out to Jesus any time, and that he would hear her prayers and accept her. Ellen had never been so happy. At the next meeting with other Advent believers, Ellen stood up and gave her testimony about the peace that Jesus had given her. Many were amazed that Ellen, who had previously been shy and quiet, could speak so openly of her love of Jesus and her belief in Christ's soon coming. Back at her old church, though, most people were unhappy about Ellen's testimony. When she spoke about Jesus' coming, some people coughed on purpose so that others couldn't hear. A few even screwed their chairs around so that their backs were to Ellen. Church elders even urged Ellen and her family to quit talking about Jesus' second coming. But Ellen was determined not to abandon her faith. She loved Jesus with all of her heart, and she longed for him to come and take her to heaven. Her depression was gone, and her spiritual life had been completely changed. Not long after this, the minister of her church came to visit the Harmon family. Because remember, her last name before it was Ellen White was Harmon. So the minister of her church came to visit the Harmon family. He told them sternly that if they did not stop speaking of Jesus' second coming, they could not be members any longer. When the Harmon family said their beliefs were in the Bible and that they would not abandon them, the church called a trial. The following Sunday, the church elder read off the names of the Harmon family and announced that they were no longer members. The family found a text that seemed to be written just for them, and they continued to witness joyfully about Christ's second coming. You can find their special text in Isaiah 66:5. And I didn't get that pulled up, so Mr. Nick is going to do that right now. 66:5. Sorry, I should have thought about that. And we'll just read the King James Version. So it says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word, you brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified. But he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed." So what does that mean, Mr. Nick?
It means that there might be people who throw you out of church or are mean to you, and they say that they're glorifying God because they're getting you out of the church or something. But they will be ashamed before God. God will be upset with them. And you should be happy that you don't have to be in the church with them.
All right. So I hope you guys liked our new little thing. The Adventist history lesson, that's what we call it, right?
Yes.
So hopefully you'd enjoyed it. And let's move on. All right. So
it is time for our nature nugget.
Nature nugget. We had fun with this one. You can't really tell that it's raining, but it's raining, and that's what our nature nugget's about. So I hope you guys like it. And
hopefully you got to play in the rain yesterday.
Yeah, I hope so. It was fun. I had fun at least.
Yeah.
It didn't pour a lot, but drizzling days are pretty nice too.
I found a puddle.
Alright, I hope you guys like it.
Hi
guys.
Bye.
Alright, so today's nature nugget is about the rain.
It's rainy.
I don't know if you can tell, but right now it is raining. There's no puddle. We'll find a puddle and splash in it. Did you find one, Mr. Nick? Alright, so anyway. So, what about the rain should we talk about?
The rain, it's coming from the sky and it's watering the earth. And we had kind of a dry winter. We didn't have a whole lot of snow. And, how many snowstorms did we have? Like two or three?
Yeah, not that many. I didn't get to build any snowmen.
Well, we got to build one snowman.
That's true. We built one, but it was after winter.
It was after winter. But the earth is very, very dry, and so this rain is helping the grass and watering it, and now we're going to have nice green grass. The grass is already looking greener.
Look at that. It's very green.
So yeah, it's going to help all the flowers, all the trees, all the grass, all of the plants.
And it's going to make everything look all happy instead of being all, how in the winter everything's all brown and there's no leaves on the tree. And another thing that the rain helps with is it helps with the buds that are coming onto the trees. We'll come up to one in a few minutes actually. Because the rain, it gives life to everything, right?
Also, it's making sure that animals are getting the water they need, like squirrels and rabbits and what other animals?
All of them, really.
All of them.
Because they don't have houses with kitchen sinks to get water from, do they?
As far as I know, they don't.
That'd be kind of cool, though. Alright, so here's what I was talking about. I don't think Mr. Nick can reach it, but if you look right up there, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see those are budding leaves, and once it turns into the summer, those are going to be full leaves. But in the winter, I don't know if you guys remember, I'm sure you do, but there were no leaves on any of the trees, really.
Yeah, the leaves fall.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is that all we have for the nature nugget?
I think that's all we have.
Alright, I know it was a shorter one, but I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to find a puddle and splash in it.
I hope you guys can get out and enjoy the rain.
Mr. Nick needs to face the camera so you guys can hear him. Sorry. Alright, well, our nature nugget today is about the rain. Something that we see not very often, but a little bit. And we don't really stop and think about it, because I know sometimes I look outside and I'm like, oh, it's a rainy day, I don't like that. It's all sad outside and cold now. But if you really think about it, the rain is there to help make everything green and happy and alive.
Yeah.
Alright, that's all we have for you, so moving on to the next thing. Alright, so now we're going to move on to our object lesson.
Yeah.
Hope you guys like it.
Very fun one with
It
a
is
candle.
Alright guys, so now it is time for our object lesson. So this one is called, what is this one called? I'm on the wrong page. This one's called Words Do Hurt. Our Bible verse for today is Proverbs 15:1, and it says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Cool.
Very cool.
So, a childhood rhyme you may have heard goes like this. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. The truth is, though, words do hurt. Words people say to us can hurt. Words we say to them can hurt. Words may not break our bones, but they wound our hurt. Oh, our heart.
That's true.
It is. It's very true. The Bible talks about words. In the book of Proverbs, King Solomon wrote, "Harsh words stir up anger." And in the book of James, you can't take 2 steps without reading about the effect of our words on other people. Today, Mr. Nick and I would like to show you how words can put out someone else's joy from a long distance. First thing Mr. Nick will do is light the candle that we have right here.
Alright, I'm gonna light it.
Alright, so our candle is lit. Can you guys see that fire? Am I blocking it?
Nope.
Okay. This is like someone who is enjoying life. Now, we'll get this water bottle thing and point it towards the flame. But look, we're over a foot away from the candle.
I think that's a foot.
Way too far to affect a flame. Maybe, or maybe not. Alright, go ahead and strike the jug, Mr. Nick.
I dropped it.
See? From way over there, Mr. Nick was able to put the candle out, put the flame out of the candle. And that's just what harsh words do to someone's spirit. They take away their glow and fun in life. So let's always follow Jesus in this area of our life. Speak words to others and about others that build and heal up their spirits.
Do we want to do the experiment one more time?
I think so. I think it was a pretty cool one.
Let's see you. Last time it took me 2 hits. 1 hit.
Awesome. Alright, so that is our object lesson for today. Let's move on.
Alright.
Alright, so now it is time for our actual lesson. So I'm just going to read it here for you guys, okay?
Alright.
Also, just so you know, we have cookies.
That table wasn't clean.
Can I have another?
Yeah.
We just did our object lesson on this table. I know it doesn't look like it since then, but that candle that we used was not very clean. You know,
That's pretty cool.
these candles aren't clean. Oh, it's a beautiful cookie. Look at that.
It's very aesthetic cookies.
Very pretty cookie. Now, you might be asking, why do we have cookies?
Why do we have cookies?
Well, I guess you'll have to listen to find out, so. Sorry. Okay. Sometimes in life, we have bad days. We might fail a test, or our friend may say something mean and hurt our feelings. When we get our feelings hurt, or have a bad day, it's important to remember this Bible text from Psalm 34:18. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, and saves such as have a contrite spirit. Now, what does that mean?
It means when you're sad, or when your heart feels hurt, or your feelings are hurt, God is still there for you, and He's not gonna leave you. And even though it might not seem like He's near right now, He is. He's always right next to you.
So that means that God is always there when you're sad, and every time you get your feelings hurt or have a bad day, God is there for you. God will always be there to comfort and help you through your struggles, which is just what Mr. Nick said. So what we have here is a fresh, maybe I should hold it how you guys can see it, a freshly baked cookie.
It's very nice.
Just so you know, our craft today is to bake a fresh cookie, so.
And we'll include the instructions.
We will, if you want to make our cookie. Or if
Yes.
your mom or dad or whoever has a better recipe, go ahead and make that one.
Some families have very specific cookie recipes.
And they're really good.
Anyways, off
Really
topic.
good. Okay, so this cookie is yummy and sweet. kind of like our good day. I was not supposed to eat it. But sometimes we do have a bad day. And it seems more like this. You guys see that? It's all broken. Oh, chocolate hands. Even though we feel like we are broken like this cookie, we should remember that God said, "The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, and saves such as have contrite spirit." Even though this cookie is broken, it is still sweet and good to eat. Still good.
Yeah, it is.
It is just like when we have a bad day. We may feel bad, but God has not left us. Just like the broken cookie, our life is still good. And when Jesus comes back, He will make us brand new, just like this new cookie right here.
And He'll take us to heaven, and we'll never get broken again.
Never. All right. So now we're going to move on, and we're going to learn how to make the cookies. So yeah. I guess we'll go on to that.
I think so.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Alright, so now it's time for our craft, which today is going to be baking. So today we're making chocolate chip cookies, and if you just heard that beeping sound, that was our oven. It just got preheated to 325. So you guys, obviously, whenever you're using an oven, make sure that you're with your parents and you have help, because we don't want any of you guys getting burned, of course. But, so you're going to preheat the oven to 325. Okay, so step 1 is what, Mr. Nick?
So you're going to take your flour, baking soda, and salt, and you're going to mix them all together in a small bowl.
Okay, so how much of each?
We're going to do 2 cups of flour, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt.
And is that what this is that you've pre-made for us here, Mr. Nick?
Yep, I've mixed them together just to save time.
Is there baking soda in here?
Yes.
Wow. So it doesn't look like a lot, but it's definitely there. So it's half a teaspoon of baking soda.
And half a teaspoon of salt.
And half a teaspoon of salt. Okay. So this is the baking soda and salt. Perfect. And now we need 2 cups of flour. So is this our flour?
That's our sugar.
Where's our flour?
I think I forgot it over here.
Alright.
Table over there.
There we go. Alright, so we have our flour, and it's going to be 2 cups, correct?
Yes, 2 cups.
Alright. We need a knife to level it off.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so whenever you're getting flour, you scoop it all up, and then you grab a butter knife, which is what Mr. Nick is getting right now, and he's going to level it off for us just to make sure that our measurements are super good. So, we have see how it's all high up, and now Mr. Nick is going to scratch it on off. Perfect.
Right.
And you see how it's all flat now? So we have 1 cup, and then one more time, because 1 plus 1 is 2, which I'm sure all of you already know. Of course. It's close enough, it's just cookies. And 2 cups. So we have our 2 cups of flour. I'm just going to leave this in here for now. Alright, and what's next?
Next, we're going to take our butter, brown sugar, and white sugar, and we're going to mix them together.
And are we going to put them in this bowl?
Yes, in
So
the big bowl.
we're going to put those in a different bowl. So it's going to be how much butter?
3/4 of a cup.
So for us, that's going to be this, because we have half sticks, so we measured it out, and our butter needs to be melted. Is that what you said, Mr. Nick?
Yes, melted.
Will you hand me that measuring cup, please? Alright. So this will be
1/4 cup.
1/4 cup. Oh, we need a bigger one.
Okay, I'll get a bigger one. should be big enough.
Thank you. So Mr. Nick had a bigger one, but if you don't have a bigger one at home, just microwave them at different times, or you can ask your parents to melt it for you on the stove. But Mr. Nick and I just use the microwave because we think that's easier.
It is.
Okay. So, there's our butter. And have your parents help you with this. And when you get butter on your hands, make sure to wash your hands. And have your parents help you microwave the butter until it's melted. Alright, so it looks like we had to dump some out.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. We misread the sticks of butter. That just shows that everyone makes mistakes in the kitchen. Okay, so we have our 3/4 of 1 cup of butter. And we're going to pour it in here?
Yes.
Alright. And it's melted butter. Now, is it okay if I have a little bit on the sides like that?
You'll want to take a spoon like this and scrape that off.
Scrape all that butter off. Butter is not healthy for you, which is why sugar and butter and all the things that are inside of cookies are a treat, and which is why we're doing this for a Sabbath craft, because it is a fun little treat. And of course people can have sweets on not Sabbath, but I'm just saying that cookies are not healthy for you, because I remember last Sabbath we talked about health and how to be healthy, and now we're making cookies. Okay.
So we're going to do 1/2 cup of white sugar.
White sugar, which is this one?
Mm-hmm.
I can't lift it. Thank you. Okay, 1/2 cup?
Yes, 1/2 cup.
White sugar, and are you going to level it off for me?
Sure.
Thank you. And that goes in which one?
The butter.
The butter. So 1/2 cup of white sugar with the 3/4 of a cup of
butter. Now I'm going to get a 1 cup.
Oh, we have a 1 cup. Right here.
Sorry, I lost track of it. And we'll do 1 cup of brown sugar right here. So this is brown sugar. And do you know what we do with brown sugar?
What?
Well, when we pour our brown sugar into our cup, we pack it. That means we take our hands and we press it down real tight.
So this is definitely why we have to wash our hands before, isn't it?
Yeah. Because we're getting our hands all in the sugar. Making a bit of a mess. Sorry.
So I take my hands and I pack it on down.
Mm-hmm. And then you fill it up again. All the way up. And you keep packing it until it's level like you would with the flour or other sugar.
And what does level mean? Does that mean just all the way across?
All the way across, flat.
Should be good.
That looks good.
Okay. Now I'm gonna, it just plops on out.
Pops right in there.
Okay, now what?
Now you're gonna take our spoon. Do we have a spoon?
We did have a spoon. Where did I put it?
I think you put it in the butter container, right here.
Did I?
Right there.
Okay.
Now if you want to just mix those up real good.
These up?
Yeah.
Just stir them all up?
Stir them up until they're all gone.
So, until it's all one big blob, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. And you add that again.
Next, we're going to add our vanilla and our egg.
Alright.
We are going to put 2 eggs in, but for us, we're using a substitute for an egg.
So Mr. Nick and I, we're vegan, so we don't eat eggs. So for you guys, if you are not vegan and you can eat eggs, then you would put 2 eggs in there, right? But for us, we have this egg substitute, so we're just gonna put that in. And so that just means we're using this instead of actual eggs.
Yes. And then we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of vanilla.
This is vanilla. Oh, my spoon. Thank you.
And you always want to make sure and measure your liquid ingredients over a bowl so you don't get it on the floor. There we go.
1
1 tablespoon.
Okay, 1 tablespoon. And then am I going to mix this all in again?
Mix it all up.
All right. It's already smelling good. All right, now what?
Now we're going to take these ingredients that we've mixed together.
And what are those ingredients again?
These are our flour, baking soda, and salt. And we're going to just pour them in. I'm going to pour them in while you stir, okay?
All right. So this is a 2-person job. Is that what I'm saying?
Yep. It's better with 2 people. I guess 1 person could do it on their own, but it's easier if you have 2 people.
Especially if it's a parent who can lift the heavy things like the sugar. But I guess a lot of people wouldn't have a big bag of sugar. Nick's mom likes to bake cakes, and they are the best things ever. And she always has a lot of sugar, so she can surprise us with cakes. And they're so delicious. Alright, stir.
Alright.
Now it seems like it's not really mixing in here. Does that mean I just need to stir faster or something?
I think it just means you need to keep stirring.
Keep stirring?
Sometimes it takes a while for all of the flour to get in there. So you just gotta be patient.
So don't give up, right?
Don't give up when it doesn't stir in for the first minute.
Because you guys see how long it's taken me to do this, right?
And when you're mixing, you want to always make sure you scrape the sides and you scrape the bottom so that you don't get any cookies that are more flour than sugar.
That would be nasty.
I don't know if you guys have ever tasted flour, but it just tastes bland and gross. Alright, is that about ready?
I believe it is.
Alright, now we're going to take 2 cups of chocolate chips.
So we're boring. We like dark chocolate, but you guys can use whatever chocolate you want. We're just going to do 2 cups of this. So measure out your chocolate chips. Don't just dump it in like I do.
Then we're just going to mix those up.
How's that look?
That's looking good.
Does that look too chocolatey there for
That looks perfect chocolatey. I like my my cookies with extra chocolate chips.
Oh yeah.
That's why she put so many in.
If you guys want to see even closer, that's what it looks like.
That's a lot of chocolate.
So you guys won't have this chocolatey, but I'm one of those people that doesn't like cookies unless there is a cajillion pieces of chocolate in every single bite. Alright.
Alright.
Now what do we do?
Now, I'm going to get a cookie sheet, and we're going to put them out on the cookie sheet.
Alright, guys. So we went ahead and cleared off our table just because I like to always have a clean space. What we did was we took a cookie sheet and we just lined it with some parchment paper. That way we don't have to scrub when we're doing the dishes later. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get about a spoonful.
Yeah.
That'd be a tiny cookie. Maybe a little bigger than a spoonful. I don't know. However you think you want to make your cookie. Yeah, maybe about a spoonful. So about that big, about that much. And you're going to take it, you're going to roll it into a ball, you're going to put it on the cookie sheet, and keep going. So that's what me and Mr. Nick are going to do right now.
Yes.
We went ahead and put our cookies on the pan, and I don't know if you can see, but they're a bit apart from each other. So that's just kind of my hand in there for example. I know your parents know how to do this, but just in case they let you do this all by yourself, that's what it's going to look like. So now Mr. Nick is going to put these in the oven, which is heated to 350, and we're going to let them bake for how long?
15 minutes.
For 15 minutes. All right, guys. Alright guys, so that was our craft of making cookies. Mr. Nick, would you like to talk a little bit more about why we did those?
So, we explained how sometimes in life when we have a bad day or get our feelings hurt, we seem like a broken cookie. And, you know, we seem broken and we seem hurt, but we still are good and we still have a good life, just like a broken cookie still tastes good. And we talked about how when Jesus comes back and brings us to heaven, he'll make us whole like this cookie and will never be broken again.
Now, going back earlier to our Adventist history lesson, do you remember who we were talking about who was teaching people about the second coming?
We were talking about Ellen White.
And what was her maiden name? And the maiden name is her last name before she was married.
That was Ellen Harmon.
There we go. So, do you remember what happened to her when she was trying to teach people about the second coming?
People were mean to her, and I think it said that they would cough so that people couldn't hear her talking, or they would turn their back to be disrespectful to her.
All right. Is there anything else we want to add?
I don't think so.
All right. So, Miss Sunic, would you like to do closing prayer?
All right. Dear Jesus, thank you for bringing us together through the video online, and please help us to have learned a lot and to have had a good Sabbath school. And please help us to have a good week. We love you. Amen.
Okay, so that's all we have for you guys today. So we really hope that you have an awesome week and a very happy Sabbath.
Bye.
Bye.